Welcome to the GeoVenture channel. If you love exploring our amazing planet, make sure to like and subscribe for more adventures. Let's talk about something that covers a huge part of our planet: deserts. Now, when you think of a desert, you probably picture a vast, sandy landscape, camels, maybe a cactus or two, and a scorching sun overhead. And you're not wrong. Many deserts are hot and sandy. But, scientifically speaking, a desert is any large area that gets very, very little precipitation. That's a fancy word for rain, snow, or any water falling from the sky. To be called a desert, a place usually gets less than 25 centimeters or about 10 inches of precipitation per year. That's not much at all. It means the air is often very dry. So where can you find these super dry places? Well, they're all over our world. Some of the most famous deserts are hot deserts, like the Sahara in Africa. It's so big you could fit the entire United States inside it. Then there's the Arabian Desert in the Middle East and the Sonoran Desert in North America. But hold on, not all deserts are hot. Some are cold, like the Gobi Desert in Asia, where temperatures can drop way below freezing in the winter. And get this, the largest desert on Earth is actually Antarctica. It's a polar desert because it gets very little snowfall, and its ice sheets hold frozen water, but the air is incredibly dry. These incredible ecosystems are defined by their lack of water, which shapes everything about them. Think about a cactus. It has a waxy skin to keep water from escaping, and a special ability to store water in its thick stem for those long, dry periods. Animals like the fennec fox have huge ears not just for hearing, but to help them cool off in the intense heat. These creatures have amazing adaptations, which are special features that help them thrive where others can't. But here's the thing. The boundaries of these deserts aren't set in stone. They can grow and they can shrink. The process of land turning into desert is called desertification. Before we look at what people are doing, it's important to understand that deserts have always been on the move. Our planet is a dynamic place, constantly changing, and deserts are no exception. Think of it like Earth breathing in and out over thousands of years. Natural climate cycles are a huge driver of this change. For instance, long-term shifts in the Earth's orbit, known as Milankovitch cycles, change how much sunlight different parts of the planet receive. These cycles can slowly turn a lush, green landscape into a dry desert over millennia, and then sometimes back again. Wind patterns are also key players in this natural process. Rain patterns are also key players in this natural process. Prevailing winds, the winds that blow consistently from one direction, can carry dry air over vast regions, preventing rain clouds from forming and delivering moisture. Sometimes a big mountain range can create what's called a rain shadow. As moist air from the ocean moves up a mountain, it cools and drops its rain. By the time the air gets over the mountain to the other side, it's very dry. This is why you often find deserts on one side of a tall mountain range. Then there are long-term weather patterns like El Niño and La Niña. These are fluctuations in ocean temperatures in the Pacific that can dramatically change rainfall around the world. During an El Niño year, some places might get floods, while others, including areas on the edge of deserts, might experience severe droughts that last for years. A prolonged drought can weaken vegetation and dry out the soil, making it easier for the desert to expand its territory. These are powerful, natural forces that have shaped Earth's landscapes for millions of years, long before humans started building cities. The Sahara Desert, for example, was once a green savanna with rivers and lakes about 6,000 years ago. Fossil evidence. Ancient rock art giraffes, crocodiles living there. This incredible transformation happened because of a slow, natural shift in Earth's climate. Understanding this natural rhythm is the first step to figuring out why the current expansion of deserts is so concerning and different from what has happened in the past. It gives us a baseline to compare against. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. While deserts do change naturally, the speed at which they are growing today is something new. And the main reason for this acceleration is us. Human activities are putting extra pressure on delicate ecosystems, pushing them past their tipping point and into desert-like conditions. One of the biggest drivers is climate change. It's caused by greenhouse gases we release from burning fossil fuels, coal, oil. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, warming the planet. This isn't just a few extra sunny days. It's changing weather patterns everywhere. Higher global temperatures mean more evaporation. Water from soil is evaporating. Water from rivers is evaporating. Water from lakes is evaporating. That water vapor escapes into the atmosphere, leaving the ground parched and dry. Climate change is also making droughts more frequent and more severe in many regions. Areas bordering existing deserts are getting hit hardest. They receive even less rain, so plants struggle to survive. When plants die, the soil is left bare. Bare soil can be blown away by wind or washed away by rare, intense rains. Another major human activity is deforestation, clearing forest for farming, clearing forests for building cities, clearing forests for lumber. Trees are incredible. Their roots act like a net, holding the soil together. Their leaves provide shade, keeping the ground cool and moist. Cutting large areas of trees removes those benefits. Soil loses structure and its ability to hold water. Topsoil gets blown away, leaving sterile sand or rock that can't support life. It's a fast track to desertification. Our farming practices add to the problem. Overgrazing happens when too many animals are kept in one area. Cattle, goats, they eat vegetation, even the roots. Their hooves compact the soil, reducing water infiltration. Intensive agriculture withdraws too much water from rivers and aquifers. Pumping groundwater faster than it replenishes makes the land dry from below. Improper irrigation can leave salt on the soil surface, making it toxic for plants. All these practices together are a powerful recipe for desertification. Let's take a trip around the world to see this happening in real life. Our first stop is Africa, home to the mighty Sahara. The region just south of this massive desert is called the Sahel. It's a semi-arid belt of land that stretches across the continent. For centuries, people there have practiced farming and raised livestock. But in recent decades, a combination of prolonged droughts driven by climate change and increased pressure from a growing population has put this land in peril. The Sahara is slowly creeping southward, swallowing up villages and farms. Now let's travel to Asia, to the Gobi Desert, which spans parts of China and Mongolia. Northern China is facing a massive desertification problem. For years, overgrazing and unsustainable farming practices have stripped the land of its protective vegetation. The Gobi is expanding, and the result is enormous dust storms that can travel for thousands of kilometers. These storms, sometimes called the Yellow Dragon, can be so thick that they blot out the sun in major cities like Beijing, covering everything in a layer of fine sand and dust. Next, we head to North America, specifically the American Southwest. This region is naturally arid, but human activities are making it even drier. The massive demand for water from growing cities like Phoenix and Las Vegas, as well as for agriculture, is putting a huge strain on rivers like the Colorado River. This river is so overused that it now rarely reaches the sea. As groundwater is depleted and soils dry out, the Sonoran Desert and Mojave Desert are effectively expanding. You can see this in the form of more frequent dust storms and the struggle of native plants to survive in the increasingly harsh conditions. Finally, even in places you might not expect, like Spain and Europe, desertification is a serious threat. Parts of southern Spain are the driest in the continent. These examples from around the globe show that desertification isn't a remote problem. It's a worldwide phenomenon, driven by a similar set of pressures and affecting diverse environments. So, the deserts are growing. Why does this matter? Well, the impacts are huge, and they ripple out to affect people, animals, entire ecosystems. For people who live on the edge of these expanding deserts, the consequences are immediate and often devastating. When fertile land turns to dust, farming becomes impossible. Crops fail, and there is no pasture left for livestock to graze. A lone malnourished cow standing in a dry, cracked field with very little vegetation. This leads directly to food insecurity, meaning people don't have enough food to eat. It can force entire communities to abandon their homes and land in search of new places to live and work, a process known as environmental migration. This loss of productive land also has big economic consequences. Agriculture is a cornerstone of the economy in many of the affected regions. When that foundation crumbles, it leads to poverty and instability. The dust storms created by desertification aren't just a nuisance, they pose serious health risks. The fine dust particles can be inhaled deep into the lungs, causing respiratory problems like asthma and other illnesses. These storms also damage infrastructure, disrupt transportation, and reduce visibility, affecting daily life in profound ways. It's a chain reaction where one environmental problem creates a host of social and economic ones. For wildlife, an expanding desert means their homes are disappearing. Animals adapted to semi-arid grasslands or woodlands can't survive in a true desert environment. Plants adapted to those habitats also can't survive. As their habitats shrink, their populations decline. This loss of biodiversity is a major concern. Every species plays a role in its ecosystem, and when one disappears, it can throw the whole system out of balance. Animals are forced to compete for dwindling resources like water and food, or they may migrate to new areas, sometimes leading to conflicts with humans or other wildlife. It's a struggle for survival on a massive scale. Furthermore, desertification contributes to climate change, creating a dangerous feedback loop. Healthy soil and plants are a massive carbon sink. They absorb and store carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When land degrades and turns into desert, it stops absorbing carbon dioxide, and the stored carbon in the soil is often released back into the atmosphere. This adds more greenhouse gases, which in turn speeds up global warming, which then makes desertification worse. It's a cycle that feeds itself, making it harder and harder to stop. It might sound like a losing battle, but don't lose hope. All around the world, people are coming up with brilliant and effective ways to fight desertification and bring degraded land back to life. One of the most famous and ambitious projects is the Great Green Wall of Africa. This is a massive initiative to plant a wall of trees, 8,000 kilometers long, across the entire continent at the southern edge of the Sahara. The goal isn't just to plant a line of trees, planting native, drought-resistant species. The goal also includes improving soil quality and harvesting rainwater. This project is about more than just trees. It's about creating a mosaic of green and productive landscapes. Communities are being trained in sustainable land management techniques, terracing, building step-like banks on hillsides to slow runoff and prevent erosion. They're also using water harvesting techniques, like digging half-moon-shaped pits that catch rainwater. These methods help recharge groundwater and make the land productive again for farming. It's a powerful example of science and community working together. Improving farming practices is another crucial piece of the puzzle. Overgrazing, the problem. Rotational grazing, the solution, moving livestock from pasture to pasture so the land can recover. Another amazing technique is agroforestry, planting trees and crops together. The trees provide shade, they enrich the soil with fallen leaves, and they help retain moisture, which benefits the crops. In China, the government has sponsored huge tree planting programs to create shelter belts that act as windbreaks to stop the Gobi Desert's expansion and hold back the dust storms. Water management is also key. Drip irrigation, for example, is a super efficient method that delivers water directly to the roots, drop by drop. This uses far less water than traditional flood irrigation or sprinklers, which lose a lot of water to evaporation. By using our precious water resources more wisely, we can grow food without depleting the aquifers that lie beneath the ground. All these solutions show that with ingenuity, scientific knowledge, and community effort, we can begin to reverse the damage and heal our planet's drylands. It takes time and dedication, but it is possible. So, we've seen what deserts are, why they're growing, and how people are fighting back. You might be thinking, this is interesting, Bill, but I don't live near a desert. So why should I care? We all live on one planet, planet Earth. Everything on a planet is connected. The dust from a storm in the Sahara can cross the Atlantic and affect air quality in the Americas. The loss of farmland in the Sahel can push up global food prices and spark instability that ripples worldwide. What happens in the desert doesn't stay in the desert. The fight against desertification is part of the larger fight against climate change. The same drivers, burning fossil fuels and cutting down forests, are warming the whole planet. Solving desertification tackles those root causes, planting trees, restoring soils. Managing water wisely aren't just good for drylands, they're good for the whole world. Healthy ecosystems absorb carbon, help regulate weather, and support the web of life. Every tree planted is a small victory for the entire planet. This challenge needs everyone. Governments must create sustainable land use policies. Scientists and engineers must keep innovating, and each of us can help. Buy sustainably, save energy, choose cleaner transport, support groups planting trees and restoring land. Every little bit helps. The future of our planet's landscapes is in our hands. Growing deserts are a warning. We are stressing the natural world. But it's also a story of hope, resilience, and innovation. Understand the science, see the connections, work together, and we can hold back the sand. We can restore life to the land and build a greener, healthier future for everyone. That's what science is about. Thank you for exploring with me.